Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's good to see you again. It's Business Nigeria. These are the top stories we're tracking for you at this time. Federal government says Nigeria's revenue from non-oil rises to 20.59 trillion naira as FG stakeholders collaborate to strengthen livestock industry. Asian market recovers as federal comments job data points to rate cuts. Well, let's dive into our commodities market as always and see what is playing out in that market this afternoon. Let's get to that playbook and see for this afternoon gold, silver, copper and platinum. I would say again that gold is a bit down, higher than this yesterday, but it's trading for $3,603.20. That's what we have for this. For an ounce of gold, down 0.89%. For silver, it is $41.58, and it's down 1.15%, whilst the change is negative 0.48. Copper is $456.95. Platinum is $1,409.19. Negative 15.61. Copper is negative 6.05. And moving to the other box now, corn, wheat, cocoa, and cotton. Cocoa is gradually bouncing back, but not to where it used to be. $7,669 is what a metric ton of cocoa is selling for. And of course, we all know that it used to be above 8,000 US dollars for a metric ton of that. But cotton is $66.25, also positive 0.06%, while wheat sells for $517.50. Corn is $417 per metric ton, also down 0.24%. Now let's go to the global markets this afternoon and see how this market is trading. Now, jobs data points to rate cuts. There's been a back and forth also with regards to job data from the United States, where President Trump has been hitting hard on the chief of releasing this report, and also the Federal Reserves on issues of interest rates. And of course, it's hitting hard on trading, but Asian stocks were mostly high today as the dovish comments from Federal Reserve's officials and a smooth auction of Japanese super long debt eased investors' jitters in bonds market. Shares rose in Australia, India, Japan, but Chinese shares fell the most since April on reports of regulatory interventions to tame runaway speculations. But MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan gave up early gains and was down in red 0.2%. Of course, dragged down lower by losses in China, the CSI 300 as much as 2.6%. This is so significant, looking at the dip of 2.6%, and was on track for the third day of declines after reports that financial regulators were preparing cooling measures for the market. United States stock futures rose 0.1%, bouncing back. And as investors took heart, federal officials' comments and the 30-year Japanese bonds auction went off smoothly, drawing buyers into betting down equities. Australian shares advanced 1.0%, recovering from their biggest one-day sell-off since April, while the Nikkei 225 rose 1.6% to close it here in green. The Sensex up 1.1% as market opened after government slashed levies on several goods to fire up consumption and counteract of a United States tariff. Now to the oil market now, there is a meeting this weekend, so a lot is expected to happen with regards to crude oil markets, whether there's going to be increase or there's going to be a hold. We'll see, but you would also note that Nigeria has been doing pretty more than OPEC's quota. There's been an increase in our output in recent times, 1.7 million barrels per day, including condensate. That's been a very good one. All servicing companies, all companies have been coming out to say that production has been steady. Crude oil theft has been on the reduced part. So that's a good one because, of course, it spurs investment. And that confidence comes back into Nigeria's oil and gas sector. But the prices declined by 1%, extending the more than 2% decline of the previous session. Investors and traders looked ahead to a weekend meeting of OPEC Plus, where producers are expected to consider Another increase in output targets. I said that earlier. United States West Texas Intermediate crude fell to $63.57, down 0.63%. Brent crude futures sells for $67.20, also down 0.59%. Bonny Light sells for $78.62, down 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, dealers offer $71.94 per barrel, positive 3.29%. Now, our first conversation will be on PwC's mid-year review and updates H2